Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to Monday, April 21st of Speaker Co-working, sponsored by SpeakerHub. I'm Ron Story. I am the head of membership and product at SpeakerHub. And this is the call that we do on a daily basis to help speakers from around the world to get the advice and the help that they need in order to not only get booked on stages, but to make sure that they're getting paid on those stages, even if those stages don't pay them up front to show up. They can get paid on the backside in order to grow their businesses, grow their presence, and be able to help the people they're truly trying to help. So usually we open it up with a few wins over the week or over the weekend, and then we'll get into some questions, and then I'll usually have a little lesson that I talk about for the day, and then we go from there. So first thing we always do is let anyone who's new introduce themselves. And Lita Bella, I think this is her first time joining. So Lita, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and what you speak on, who you help, where you're from, if you like to break dance, if you eat tacos, if you jump rope, whatever you want to tell us, you can tell us right now.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. for me. I'm in LA County. And so I'm a certified coach and consultant, a certified mediator, a professor of business law and paralegal studies, and a public speaker. The last 6 years, I've been giving educational presentations to attorneys on substance use disorders and mental health issues and wellness strategies. I just retired from that job. It was my government job. And so now I want to branch out and become a public speaker in broader areas. The only thing I haven't done yet are keynotes. And so that's what my goal is, to become a keynote speaker so I can make a lot of money.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, cool, man. You know, when you make some money, you can share with us. Everybody in on that? How many of y'all vote for that? Yeah, okay, perfect, perfect. No, Lita, good to see you. Any wins so far? Larry, good to see you back. Any wins so far over the weekend? Any new bookings? Any new appearances coming up? Janika, go ahead.
Well, Ron, you'll like this one. I got two connections with the associations. One, we're putting together a training program. They want to use what I do in terms of training with their members. Another one is ready to interview me to see how I can fit into what their association is doing. So slowly creeping out there in the association world.
Look, hey, man, you know, progress is progress. Right? Progress is progress. So one of the I was thinking about an analogy over the weekend that it really meant a lot to me because it kind of explains how this business works, in any business. And imagine you have this machine that every time you turn the wheel, money comes out, right? And how many times we have that machine and it's our knowledge or it's a skill that we have. But a lot of us are just sitting by the machine waiting on someone to tell us that we should turn the knob. We waiting on the event planner to find us. Hey, you want to turn the knob today? We waiting on the podcaster to come find us. Hey, you want to, that knob? You want to come turn that knob? Right? But in reality, we can turn the knob as much as we want. Right? We don't have to wait on someone to do it. And I think it's always empowering when you know that you are able to generate whatever attention or whatever activity on your own without, whether somebody walked down the street or not, that knob's going to get turned. So high five Jadika for turning the knob a few more times, just keep winding that joint up, Any other wins?
I had one. Yeah. I had the, yep. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Whoever, it's Larry.
I had one this morning. I mentioned, Ryan, I got this strange little niche in the pet industry, veterinarians, pet retailers, etc. And I reached out. There's a conference in Chicago this summer, but they weren't able to get me into that. But they reached back to me this morning and said, how about a webinar in a couple of months? I'm like, fine, if that's what it takes to, get through the door, that's what it takes. And to your point, I literally just reached out this morning to the University of Nevada at Las Vegas. They have an internal leadership development program for predominantly faculty and staff. And given my background, I reached out to them and said, hey, if there's a way we can collaborate, I could support the initiative, let me know. And an hour later, they got back to me. So, we just keep putting it out there.
That's it. That's it. Like, we don't need anyone's permission to turn the knob, right? And I think Larry brings up a great point that the key is to have the conversation to see what opportunities exist. So a lot of times, just like we've never made a job posting at SpeakerHub, right? But I remember when it was just me, but I've never made a job posting, right? But if somebody hit me up, like, I'll tell you what happened. I was driving Uber, I'm not driving, but I was riding in the Uber here in Columbia maybe 6 months ago. And this guy, he says, man, what does it take to live in this neighborhood? And I said, oh, it's cool. I just run a little company, right? And he says, let me know if you're ever hiring. Now, his English is perfect. And I'm like, oh, what do you do now? I run business intelligence for a software company out of Florida, but I do it here in Columbia. And I said, well, let's just keep in touch and we'll see how it goes. The next week he calls, he says, hey, can we go to lunch or something? Because I really want to talk about, like, it's very interesting. I don't know any of the people that I work with in Florida, but you're here. Like, I would love to figure out how we can work together because I don't want to be driving Uber anymore. I want to be able to just work from the house. And now he does our business intelligence. But if he never would have asked me, right? We not on the outside, we're not hiring, but he asked me, right? And he kept in touch. The same thing Larry did in the door open. He showed me that he had the skills. He put together all these charts and everything for me beforehand. I was like, oh, not right now. He was like, yeah, let me show you what I do though. And he put together all this stuff. And now he works for us part-time, not full-time just yet. But it wasn't even something I was even thinking of hiring for. We didn't even have the systems. We had to go out and buy all the software to do it. But he had justified his value in front of us, right? So I think that's something that we all can kind of learn from, which is a lot of times you just got to show them what you got. And you'll be surprised. I don't know. All of us that have been to a restaurant and we didn't want something. We didn't want the dessert, but they brought it on that tray. And we was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go and get that pecan pie. It's just how it works, Lawrence, what's up?
Yeah, so I've got a few wins. The first one is that later today, I have a call placed out in Boston, and that's that school I've been talking about. Getting in there is going to be so fantastic. The next one I have is that recently I finished reading this book on the psychology of negotiation. And one of the things in there that I've been using in pitching is standards. So the podcast host, the school, the places hiring us, there's something that they want that matters to them. Their standard might be, we want to improve our company's revenue. We want students to be more well-behaved. Whatever matters to them, what matters to them. When you understand what specifically matters to the person you're talking to, you can take what you do and put it in their language.
Yeah.
So that'll be really great for me. And
what was the book? Was it Chris Voss?
Can't remember off the top of my head, but once I find it, I'll put it in the chat because it's so fantastic. It teaches you how to negotiate everything.
Yeah, there's a great negotiation book by a guy named Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, which is a really good book if you haven't checked it out. It's in plain language. He's really good. So yeah, Lawrence, high five, dude. High five
Thank
for
you.
being persistent with that school. But I think another thing that you're talking about goes back to the surveys, right? the best thing about being a speaker, your superpower as a speaker is listening. But if we don't talk to enough people, we don't have enough people to listen to in order to learn what we can help them with and how much they're willing to pay for it. So, no, that's a big deal. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Any other wins? Bonnie, were you about to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a quick one. So I got 9 referrals last week. And
Oh, yeah.
Little dance,
How
little dance.
dope is that?
Yes, I got 9 referrals, and I'm sending out the responses to the last 3 right now. And then as I was looking at that, 3 of them came back to me, and I'm scheduling them. So yay! Woohoo!
Look at that.
Woohoo!
That's a big deal. For those who don't know, the referrals, we're doing some surveys in order to better understand what products and services or what enhancements they need to make to their products and services. One of the biggest issues is that 80% of speakers make 90% of speakers make less than $50,000 a year, right? 53% of them charge less than $1,000 per gig, and 86% did less than 10 gigs last year. What that means is that most people are making less than $25,000 as a speaker. There's no way you can be a speaker full time if you can't generate revenue. We will quit everything if we don't make money from it eventually. So what we're looking at is how do you remove the first barrier that you run into as a speaker, which is the price barrier. If you can remove the way that you get paid as an obstacle, meaning that if the event planner doesn't have the money to pay you, but you can get clients out of the audience, or you can turn that free gig into a consulting gig or a long-term contract advising or selling a book or a course or some other things, then there's no speaking gig you can't take. And it gives you a competitive advantage having that skill because all of your compadres are trying to get as much as they can up front. But the way you get paid on a speaking gig, there's 3 times you get paid. You get paid before, meaning before you show up, right? You get paid during, meaning during the event while you're there. And then you get paid after the event. And let's walk through that. That's really important. So here's our graphic on this. And so before, how do you get paid before an event? Let's say, for instance, you want to speak at an event and they don't have the budget, right? They don't have the budget for bringing you in. You can bring a sponsor. You can say, hey, do you still have a sponsor spot open? If I found someone to sponsor my fee, will you promote that business on your sponsor board? In exchange, they pay my cost to come, right? We've done that before. We have that set up for a talk in Europe later this year for a speaker that we think is perfect for a TED Talk. But it's all the way in Portugal. So we're sponsoring that speaker to get there, right? Because we believe that his message is so strong that he should get there. So he brought us in as a sponsor at SpeakerHub to sponsor his talk. The other thing is you can get paid marketing fees. You can get paid your speaker fee beforehand. You can also negotiate lead generation. Maybe I do the talk, but I get access to an email list, or you do an email newsletter with me in the newsletter featuring me to your audience where they could maybe buy something. It may not even be the people that's going to be attending the talk. A lot of times, if you go talk at a financial advisor association, there may only be 20 people that come to the monthly meeting, but they may have a list of all 1,200 financial advisors in St. Louis. So imagine if they did a highlight of you in that newsletter with your products and services, but yet you did the talk for the 20 people without any upfront monetary payment, but you've negotiated other types of payment upfront. So money isn't your only form of currency. Let me say that again. Money isn't the only form of currency. You can get paid in bartered services or emails or whatever you want. but it's up to you to be creative. Don't let the event planner's budget and their lack of creativity affect how you get paid, right? The second way you can get paid is during the event, right? During the event is they give you your second part of that deposit when you show up, right? They send you the deposit up front and you get the check when you show up, right? Live upsells, them allowing you to sell from the stage, them giving you a book desk or some type of exposition table in the back to sell your products and services, or to do a book signing, or to take photos, or whatever you might do. And then using your speaker QR to generate leads directly from the stage when people come and download your slides or whatever else you want to make an offer to them for. That's during an event, right? And then the third way is after an event. Follow up with the people who followed up with you. You know, maybe we went to an event in August where the part that I spoke at was on day 5, but I was offered a table from day 1 all the way through day 6. Do you see what I mean? So even though I was speaking on day 5, I still had day 6 to have a table out there. If I was speaking on day 1, I would have had 5 more days to sell people at that event, right? So you can always negotiate a table for your products and services, trainings, other content, reviews. Again, money isn't the only form of compensation. So after going on a podcast, I know several people here have been invited to speak, but they showed up on a free podcast. And then they were invited to go speak at a conference or something afterwards. Is this helpful, guys? The BDA strategy? Now, you may not get paid in all 3 of them, but you should at least get paid in 2. Right? What are the 2 you can control? Like every time. You can always control after and during. Every time you can control after and during. Right? The other thing, in order to get paid before, you can do some prep work before so that you can get paid afterwards. But one of the beforehand prep work is getting similar companies' leads. So if I'm going to talk at SHRM in St. Louis, I'm gonna get the one for Chicago, Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Little Rock. And after I meet with the people, I'm gonna say, hey, do you know the director at Chicago, Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Little Rock? I'm gonna be reaching out to them. Can I mention to them that I know you guys? That's how we ask for referrals in a live situation. You go with your own list and you don't say, do I have your permission to contact these people? No, I'm already contacting them. Can I tell them I already met with you? Right? You don't need their permission to contact anybody, right? You need their permission to say that you talk with them, but you can contact whoever you want, right? Any questions about BDA? Does anybody use a BDA in one way or another? Anybody have a creative way that wasn't on our list of how you've gotten paid for a gig that wasn't in the generic list that I gave? Nope. Okay, cool.
There was someone on Dr. Karen. She negotiated, it was a few months ago. She talked about negotiating a photo shoot before an event, because all of these events have people, for the major events, they have people taking pictures. So she negotiated an entire photo shoot, which was pretty cool.
It's super dope, right? I mean, it's creativity, but that photo shoot probably would have cost her $2,000, right? And she already got the outfit, right? She already got on the outfit. She already got the people there, right? You know, it's not that hard. No, that's super duper cool. Anything else? All right. Any other topics you all want to cover before I get into my topic for the day?
Hey, Ron, I just had maybe it's a technical website question, and I apologize to everyone else on the call if you know the answer.
No, let's go ahead.
When I apply to gigs, do they stay in, I'll call it the menu of available gigs, or do they drop out?
Yeah, so they're going to stay on the regular SpeakerHub. They stay in the menu of available gigs,
Okay.
right? In SpeakerHub, we put a little notification. In SpeakerHub Pro, we put a little notification on the side. I don't know how that's going to work in the new version that we're releasing. I need to ask Gustavo about that, what happens. But I think it may still be the same thing because we can't take the post down from the actual website. Like those are publicly facing gigs, Larry, but inside of the database, we can just hide it from you. But we can't hide the main gigs that are there that are on our site for SEO reasons. So that's why that probably won't go away. But we
Yeah,
may
I'm
be
just
able to
getting to
put a
the
little
point where I'm
checkbox
looking at
saying
some of them going, did
applied.
I apply for that or not? So I'm
Yeah,
going back.
we may need to put a little box that says applied or something like that. I think that would be cool because we have that. We could do that.
And what's the difference between a registered user and the other users? Because we get that breakout of what percentage are registered and what percentage are not. Are those the event planners?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like if I look at my stats, it'll say 15% of your views were from registered users and 85%.
Oh yeah. Those are from event planners that have logged in with an account with us. The rest of them are from event planners. A lot of people come to our site and look through the speakers first and then when they find somebody they want, then they'll log in and reach out to that person. But a lot of times they're looking through people that may have your topic until they find somebody that they like and they click contact and then we force them to register in order to reach out to you.
Okay. My last question is it, maybe I'm missing it. Is there a separate breakout, like when we can search for keynotes and workshops and after dinner speakers, is there a separate category for corporate events that aren't part of a conference? So let's say Avis is having a corporate event.
Yeah, so the majority of our stuff is publicly available. It's publicly available conferences. It's not corporate events because usually they're not, I haven't found a source for those. Usually they're internal and they're promoted internally, which is where you would have to reach out to someone inside of the organization to find out about that event. But unless they've posted it publicly as a conference on the Avis website, we wouldn't have that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep, no problem. So, but no, that's a good question. Corporate events are really cool. We do a lot of training on corporate consulting, and we'll be adding some of that down the road. We just got to tighten the data up. The data isn't at the standard that I would want it to be at right now. So, what do I want to cover today? How many of you all have your own podcast or your own show? Jadika, anyone else? Have your own stage that you bring people on? Michelle? Yep. AJ? Cool. Right? Is there a reason why not? John, I think you got one.
No, I just got I've been contemplating one.
What's your LinkedIn? Don't you do LinkedIn every Tuesday?
Yeah, I didn't know I thought you was talking about more of a podcast format. Yeah, I do Facebook Lives and things of that nature.
Yeah. Well, podcasting is just a way to distribute, right? But the content is the content. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
your own stage, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, a summit, a weekly event, that's a stage that you've created. Where
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're the owner of that stage.
Yeah, I have that then.
Okay. Right. So I want to talk about that because it's something that we don't talk about a lot. But I think it's one of the things that we miss. And let me see if I can bring this up here. Right. So at SpeakerHub, we believe that there's two types of speakers. There's the producer and there's the talent. A lot of speakers start off as the talent, right? And when you're the talent, you're at the mercy of someone approving you and accepting your message and accepting your audience, so forth and so on. But when you're the producer, you can be both. We produced our own event called the Pro Speaker Summit. And I also was a speaker there. I was the only speaker that spoke all 3 days because it's my show. Right? So when you're the producer, you can do whatever you want. Just like here, we put on this stage every single day, right? We bring other people in to have conversations with us, but it's my stage, right? And the great thing about this is that a lot of us are in a position to be thought leaders, but we don't have a group of followers, right? And I want to share a video that I have always loved that I think you all have seen before. Right? I want to come over here and I want to play this because part of being a leader is finding your group. And I think at SpeakerHub, we found our group.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Have you all seen that before?
Only right here, but I love it.
Right?
I've seen it before. It's a powerful message.
Yeah. What are some of the lessons in that video?
That we have group herd mentality. When people realize that something's good and it's shaking and it's happening over there, we got to go over there because we need to figure out what's going on.
Oh, 100%. Everybody was embarrassed and laughing at them until other people joined in, right? And were they really embarrassed at first? No, they just didn't want to stand out.
They were uncertain.
Exactly, right? Sometimes that's us, right? We have our ideas, but we don't have anyone that's following, right? You know, Kevin is the longest standing member of our daily calls. Kevin was coming to these calls a long time ago. When we only used to do them on Wednesdays with PitchDB almost 3 years ago, right? So sometimes it just takes one Kevin, right? And then we end up, I think up to this point, Juliana can tell us how many unique people have visited the calls in the last 4 months. Is it close to 600? We can't hear you, Juliana. For some reason, you're unmuted, but your mic isn't working. Yeah, we still can't hear you, right? But yeah, I think there's been close to 600 unique people have come on this call. Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, we have around those numbers. I have to double check the exact number, so give me a second. I'll send it through the chat, but yes, we're happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, but what it takes is just being easy to follow, making yourself available for people to find you, telling people that you're available. Hey, I'm available if you want to talk about it, right? How do people try you out? And I think sometimes we forget about that because we think that, oh, there's only 40 some people or 30 people that'll be on the call today. Yeah, but 5 of them never been here before, right? And then different people come in and out, and they come once or they come twice, and next thing you know, they're our customers. So you got to be easy to follow. The other thing is that everybody ain't gonna want to follow you, which is perfectly fine. How many people here do salsa dancing? Okay, so we got maybe 5 of us, right? But salsa dance has been around longer than all of us, but only 5 of us have chosen to do it. Not that there's something wrong with it or something wrong with those who didn't, but we were the ones who chose to follow that form of dance. So even with our messages, sometimes it may not be the most welcome message at the beginning, but over time, like hip hop started off just with a couple dudes DJing. Now it's the biggest music in the world, right? Or anything else. I mean, I just think that it's very important for us to get started, even when we're by ourselves, because we believe, right? Your beliefs shouldn't be shaped by mass approval. Let me say that again. Your personal beliefs shouldn't be, okay, 459, which is good. I'll take that, right? That means we've done 136 episodes. That means that we average 3 to 4 new people every day. That's huge. I get 3 new people every day. Let me keep this up. Wait till I learn how to raise that number. And here's the thing. We don't even email our list to invite them. Those 3 to 4 new people are usually because you all invited a friend or someone. I would say 70% of those folks are referrals from you guys. Inviting your friends to come out there and do the dance, do the TikTok dance, right? That was actually me in the video before I got a suntan. That was me doing that dance. I was the first follower, right? But so we really appreciate that because hopefully we've made it easier for you all to invite people over to SpeakerHub. We also want to make it easier for you guys to share your success, right? We want to make it easier for you to work together, work with each other, teach Lita a new dance move. Willie, show Midas how to do that breakdancing thing you learned in the Army, right? That's the purpose of this whole thing. It's bigger than us. What are some of the other lessons, guys, that maybe I didn't see? Anything else?
To treat the first few followers as equals. I think that's a powerful message.
Yep. Go. Tell me a little more.
Well, he welcomed the first few followers and he didn't say like I'm over you, but he just welcomed them and said, "Yeah, do your thing. Come on, let's keep it going." And he encouraged them as opposed to saying, "I'm over you. No, do it this way." No, he said, "Let's go."
You've learned a lot about leadership and making a move.
100%. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. It's hard to follow someone that you don't trust if they start off with rules, right? So the first invitation to follow is walk with me. It's not, this is how you walk with me. Let me say that again. The first invitation to follow is, hey, walk with me. It isn't, this is how you walk with me. The minute that you start saying, this is how you walk with me, people are like, I don't want to walk that way. Now they start judging your method of walking. It's like, dude, I'm just saying, you're gonna need to put some shoes on. You know, if we're gonna walk in this hot sand, right? But I don't want to put on those shoes. I don't need to wear my boots. Okay, cool. Let's just go. Right. And then eventually you're gonna buy some boots while we walking, right? But the first invitation again should be walk with me, not this is how you walk with me. I think that's a really, really strong point. It's a really strong point, Kevin. I think it also highlights that leadership is over glorified. Right? Y'all can show up whenever y'all want. I can't. I gotta be here every day. I gotta show up on this call every single day. Y'all can say I ain't coming today. Tomorrow I'm gonna take the day off. Nah, the leader has some responsibility, and it's a lot more over glorified than there's a lot more to it than claps. Does that make sense? The applause usually it isn't worth the money, right? But it's the thing that fuels the mission. Man, this was really good. I learned something. They can give me a different perspective. I want to stick around with these guys. I don't want to let you guys down, right? Everything we do from fast refunds to free coaching, it's because I don't want to let you guys down. The mission is more positive messages, right? When somebody does something ignorant, how much does it cost to share it on Instagram? Nothing. But they share it, don't they? Right? They share the ignorant stuff. They like it, comment on it, do everything. Lawrence put on Instagram, hey, I'm speaking at this school in New Jersey. So you're like, wait a minute. It's just as easy to share this and to be positive and to comment on Lawrence's Instagram saying, hey man, high five, as it is that if he would have fell off his bike and broke his arm, put his arm, on the wrong shoulders, they would share that video. Look at his arm. Look what happened to him. I knew he was a knucklehead. Right? Right? So a lot of times we got to be our own, what do you call it? Our own support system, especially for, we need to know we ain't the only ones out there, Bonnie. You know, Bonnie getting them 9 referrals, that means a lot to me because I know how hard it was, right? To get Bonnie to do the first survey, right? So anytime you get results, it's like, yo, this is a big deal. All right, that's enough of my rant. But that was really kind of my thing for today. I wanted to talk about how we can get paid before, during, and after an event. But then we also have to create our own stages. So then we can determine how we get paid. If you have a product and service and you've never done a webinar, how many of y'all have done webinars before? Right? How many of y'all have ever sold something from a webinar? Right? Okay, cool. That's really important. You know why? Because you find out if people really rock with you. It's easy to come on here for free. It's easy to go show up and listen to somebody for an hour for free. You find out who really rocking with what you're saying when you say, yeah, for $13.99, you can get this breakdancing machine, right? You can buy a P90X. So, but any other questions for me? I just wanted to kind of get a sense on BDA and if anyone was producing their own events, and try to understand why. If you're not, why aren't you producing your own podcast, going live, putting videos on YouTube? Why are you keeping your message to yourself? Right? Let me say this. You don't have any secrets. We've all heard there's nothing new under the sun. I guarantee you, whatever topic you're talking about, somebody on YouTube talking about it. Actually, let's do that. Let's look through this. Watch this. Let's look through that. I think this is interesting. Let me go over here to old YouTube And let's pick a topic. Kevin, what's your topic?
How did I know you was gonna pick on me? My topic is journaling for success. It's so I know it's an already well worn topic since people been journaling since Stoic times.
Right? Look at that. 1.4 million views. All right. Another one.
I want to get my share of them.
Okay, watch this. There he is.
Wow. I
There he
don't even
is.
remember that picture being there.
There he is. Right. Now can I give you a little bit of coaching, Kevin?
Of course.
Okay. Valencia, I want to ask you. I want to ask
Okay.
you, what is this video about?
That video, I'm not really sure.
Okay. What
Uh,
about this one? What about this one?
Matt, Kevin Hempstead, don't know.
Yeah, you see what I mean? So the first thing we got to do is put our topics so that people can find them. If is the MAP, is that your journaling format, Kevin?
Yes, it is.
Why don't it mention journaling at all? See, this
Because
guy, he'll say journaling.
yeah,
He'll say journaling. Ain't
it's
nobody
true.
searching for map. That's not even map. That's MAP, meaning they got to put M space A space P space. 1.9 million journaling. 15 years of journaling, 600,000 views. Journaling for beginners. This one came out 11 months ago, 151,000 views. So we got to be very clear about what we do and what we're doing. Right? So watch this. Let me give you another little hack. Let me see if I can get back to it. One moment. My Zoom be too big. It'd be in the way. All right, let me go to Kevin's thing here. Right. So what can I do? After I give my talk, you know what I can do? When I give my talk, I can bring my talk over here and I can put it into here. Right. So while this is getting my transcript here, I'm going to get a new, I'm going to get me a new window here. So there's my transcript, Kevin. Right. So I got my transcript. Give me a title, description, and keywords for my YouTube video. Here is the transcript. Watch this. If I forgot anything that I can use to optimize my upload, include that info too. Right? So now watch what happens. How journaling helped me manifest my life. That's so much better than map. There's a description. Then it gives you the breakouts of what the chapter should be. Right? And then it gives you all your keywords to put in for your tags. Give you a suggestion for thumbnailing. Use a split image of Kevin journaling and his Harley Davidson. How many times he done mentioned that Harley Davidson on here? He talks about winning that Harley Davidson.
How did you find that? I mean,
Hey
to
man,
get the
this
transcript.
is magic, bro. This is magic. You rocking with the best. You know, we give y'all the best tools, man. Right now, does that make sense? He has several videos out there of Kevin, but we can't find them. They got 13 views. Why? Because he did a bad job of telling me how to find it. I'm not searching for M space A space P and then just randomly guessing some stranger's name, Kevin Hempstead. Let me just see if there's a random stranger named Kevin talking about solving my problems for the day. Come on, man. This ain't about Kevin Hempstead. It's about you, the audience. Does that make sense?
How many
Right?
tags are you limited to the number of tags you can have?
In what? In YouTube?
Right, when you listen up for the searches for your search engine.
I don't know. I just put in whatever they tell me. I got somebody on my team that does this for me, but they give you the tags here, the different words. I mean, I don't think you limit it. Shoot, they gave them 100,000. I mean, like I wouldn't have been able to think through all these different things, but YouTube would know, right? And I can come
So
in and edit
you
them. These are all the tags that they gave me here.
so you just asked them for the transcripts to my videos? Is that
No,
how you did that?
we use YouTube transcript to transcribe the video. I copy
Oh.
that and I just came over here and I said, give me the title, description, and keywords for this YouTube video. If I forgot anything that I could use to optimize my upload, I meant to put optimize, include that info too. And it gave me the keywords and chapters. I would have never thought about those things. Right? Does that make sense? So not only do we need to be easy to follow, we need to be easy to find. Right? We got all this knowledge that we hiding. Guess what? It's going to be hidden forever when they bury you behind. So why are you hiding it now? You ain't an Easter egg. What are we doing? Why are we hiding it now? We got all the information and I'm going to put it on YouTube, but I'm going to make it very hard for them to find it. Okay, you won. Now you got that little goofy trophy. What's next? Right? Now, let me come back and say that's not Kevin's fault because some of these are not even on his channel. There were interviews that were on someone else's channel. So I can't be upset with Kevin for that. But I can tell you what you could do. Let's say you got a video on someone's channel that's not properly optimized. You know what you do? Go do this and say, hey, I put together, I think, what is a great description and this for the video if you want to use it. You don't say, hey, you put that stupid description on my thing. Nobody's going to find it. Don't say that. That's not how you negotiate. That ain't in that book Lawrence was reading, right? You got to be a bit more diplomatic. I know you want more views, so I took the time and I wrote up a description and I did the chapters for you. And I also optimized the title. And here's a thumbnail that you can use too. Again, this is yours, guys. This is your voice, your product. Polish it up. Polish that diamond up. Does that make sense? That's a 3-minute investment. Bonnie, go ahead.
So does that work only on YouTube videos that we created or that like podcasts we've been on that are posted to YouTube by other people?
So that's what I just answered. That if you've gone on someone else's, do this for them and send it to them and say, hey, I went ahead and I optimized the video. I saw you put the podcast on YouTube. I went ahead because that one that we put up there, that wasn't from Kevin's channel. That was from some podcast he was on. But imagine you going in and doing that so that they can optimize the one for you.
Great. Thanks for the translation.
Huh?
Thanks for the translation. I always need to hear it more than once.
Oh yeah,
Thanks.
no, it's all good. You know, again, we don't need to be reminded as much. I mean, we don't need to be taught as much as we need to be reminded, right? So, any other thoughts about that? I think that that's a dope thing. A lot of us got content out there. It's just not optimized.
Yes.
Right? Now, why do I want to show that? Because the other day we talked about running ads to your things, to your speaking gigs or your podcast that you were on. A lot of us just benefit from just making it findable to begin with. Even without the ads, just at least make it where the search engine can find you. Now, I'm going to show you one that frustrates me, and this is nothing against her. It just frustrates me because my name is Ron Story Jr. And I put in Ron Story Jr. and Pam Perry, and nothing comes up. She left the JR off. But when you search Ron Story and Pam Perry, then my interviews come up. But the JR missing separates me from everyone else. I've optimized my name with Ron Story with the JR on it. So my podcast with Pam doesn't come up because it doesn't have that JR in there. Does that make sense? So, but yeah, I mean, some of these we could have done better. I'll show you how we do it here at SpeakerHub. This one is Ron Story Jr. Master Outbound, your secret weapon to getting booked, right? And then we have a description here. This is from January of this year where I talk about the speaker flywheel. I don't know why. What the heck did Raymar do to that video? We need to ask Raymar why that one ain't. They don't have our chapters in there. Usually we have the chapters and the description and the keywords down at the bottom for our own, right? That one didn't have the chapters in there. So, and that's from January 20 something. Can you have Raymar fix that? From January 20 something.
I think it said 25th on the thumbnail.
Oh, this was a class I did.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think this was a class I hosted. But yeah, it still needs those things in there.
24th.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, no, but yeah, so we try to practice what we preach. Any other questions about Valencia?
Hey, so question about YouTube. So if we were on a podcast or anything and it's on their channel, is it okay for us to download it ourselves and put it on our channel? Or is that?
So YouTube would call that duplicate content, right? YouTube would call that duplicate content. And a lot of times it will push your information down, or the person can give you a copyright strike. You can do it with their permission, but if they mark it as a copyright strike, because they'll get notified, right? Okay. YouTube will kick you off, right? Or they'll demonetize your channel. But if you're not monetized, but you can just ask the person, right? I think it's okay to take clips.
Yeah, right? I do clips. Okay.
But here's the other thing. Let me give you a great example of this. Let me go back in the teaching mode, right? So this one, LinkedIn, created for more. My name isn't on here at all.
Oh, listen,
right? Like even in the descriptions, my name isn't even in there that I'm the person teaching. But yet I still generate leads from this, right? Because she still got to introduce me. She can't say, hey, there's this black dude that's just going to come on here and talk about LinkedIn. No, you got to introduce me. You got to tell people who I am, right? So from this, I still, I don't mind running ads to something on someone's channel or driving traffic to that thing, because I'm still the second most watched video on this channel. Right? And when people see Myron Golden on all of them, they know he famous. Well, why this dude up here? Who is this dude? Let me just watch this one. We already know who this dude is, but who is this dude? Right? You saw me doing my dancing on TikTok. There it is. Oh, I've been doing that dance for years. Right? But that's the one thing you don't have to worry about. It don't always have to be on your channel. A lot of times you want to appear on everybody's channel. Got it? Any other questions? Got 5 more minutes before we at the end of the day. Any other questions about getting booked more, getting on more stages, getting more exposure for your current content? I know we talk a lot about new content, but current, like already existing content. Those messages are powerful. Why aren't we using them? Janika, go ahead.
Ron, I just have a question. Each co-working session, you're always providing us with a lot of different links to tools. Do you have a sheet that has those links to them?
You know, I got my brain. That's the bad thing about it. I don't be thinking about it. I just, while I'm doing it, I just do it. I probably should put
Right.
together
Because I have to go back through all the videos trying to find out what was that link that he said for this particular topic that he was talking about.
Let me see if I think I have a solution for that though. Right. So I'm going to give you the link. It's called Notebook LM. Right. Notebook LM.google. Right. And this is
Okay.
free. Right. I'm going to show
Okay.
you what you can do. Right. So I'm going to pick one of my videos from when I was on SpeakerHub. Let's see. Right. So I'm going to pick this one from the other day when we were on, and I'm just going to put the link inside of Notebook LM. Anybody can do this. This is free from Google. Right. So I'm going to create a notebook, and I'm just going to, it asks you, what do you want to put in a YouTube video? So I'm going to click there and I'm going to paste this in. Right. And maybe we should have Raymar do this. Right. Give me all of the websites and links mentioned in this video. All right, so now I can just go through and there it is. Right? So
That works.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. So we probably need Raymar to go through and do this. You see how it went through and it found like different links and websites that are inside. I think on this one I may have just used YouTube or whatever. Transcripts to YouTube. So that one says you can use YouTube transcript.
Right.
Then you put that Notebook LM thing in the chat.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, that's why we do this. Look, I'm learning like y'all learning, right? I'm learning. I'm getting better too. I just be talking sometimes and forget that Ange don't be knowing what I be about to show. Half the time she caught by surprise just like y'all. You know? So all right, but good to see you, Valencia. See you tomorrow. Lita, any other questions? Welcome to Speaker Hub. This is what we do every day. We try to help speakers to get on more stages. Was this helpful? Are there any particular questions you want to ask?
No, I've learned a lot, and thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Hopefully we see you back. I promise you we can help you to get on more stages. You know, I'll walk you through how we do it. We do it through something called the speaker flywheel. And I'll share that with you really quickly so you can kind of see, give you a little bit more context as to how we help at SpeakerHub, right? So as you know from this meeting, our goal isn't just to get you paid to speak. It's also to teach you how to speak to get paid. Especially if you're retired, you're going to be doing this full time. You want to be able to get paid no matter whether the event planner has a budget or not, right? But we do it through something called the speaker flywheel. And the first part of it is where the hosts find you. That's what we call inbound, right? And this is where you put your photo or your speaker one sheet in our directory. We currently have 64,000 speakers that we work with in our directory with live profiles. So Carly Guy, she's here. Carly Jane Guy, she's here with her profile so that event planners can find her, right? So we call that inbound. On the other side, we have something called outbound. This is where instead of waiting on the host to find you, you reach out to the podcast, the associations, the media outlets, and the conferences that you want to be a speaker at. Is that fair? So we have 4 million opportunities. So I want to show you how this works. So we call this SpeakerHub Pro, and the pro could mean proactive, professional, pro, whatever, whatever you want to, but I like to say proactive, right? So let me just use you as an example here. Lita Abella, JD, and what's the name of your business, Lita?
Lita Abella, Coaching and Consulting and Mediation Services.
Okay. Coaching and consulting. What's the last part?
And mediation services.
Okay. Coaching, consulting, and mediation services. Okay. All right. So this isn't creating an account for you. It's just putting your information into my account so I can show you how we work. And where are you located?
Los Angeles.
And if you had to sum up what you do in one sentence, what would you say? You help who to do what?
I help professionals in high stress jobs navigate their career with confidence and clarity.
And do you have your own framework that you use?
No, not yet.
All right, perfect. And you have a website?
Yes.
And what is it?
LitaAbella.com.
Perfect. And let's go. There she is. And let's come back here. And so, Lita, before I owned SpeakerHub, I actually used to run an agency, and so did Angela. And what we used to have to do, we used to have to go out and look at your website, look at your LinkedIn, look at everything we can find on you in order to find out how to pitch you to these organizations, right? And to try to find the topics that we should look for you. Now we use AI to do it. So in about 5 seconds, this Andrew Brummer profile here is going to change to one for Lita Abella. And is going to be used as our way to try to find opportunities that match what you speak about. So give it a couple more seconds here. And there it is. Does that
So
sound
it's
accurate?
pulling information from my website and from my LinkedIn?
Yep. Right. So now, based on this profile and what we have there, and you can read through it if you want in a couple seconds to see if it makes sense. Is that accurate? At least 75%? Oh, wait, I didn't put you, it has you as a fractional. That's my bad.
Yeah, I was looking, I was like,
Yeah, my
what
bad. It
is
should be speaker and what's your other title?
consultant coach?
Okay. Yeah, and so it still had you, it was like, maybe she started a new career as a fractional. That's probably why it took so long to get the information. It's like, she ain't a fractional COO. All right. That's my bad. Right. But yeah, so it's going to go through and write the bio, and then it's going to start matching you to the right podcast, the right speaking gigs that you should be applying to. Now, this is so much better. It even has your name in there. Right.
Right.
All right, let's reread that one and see.
Yes, that's
Okay.
better.
Perfect. So now when I click on podcast here, now it's giving me career-based podcast that you could be a guest on. All right. So let's say you wanted to go on this Your Career podcast with Jane Jackson. You can come in, you can listen to it, and then you can add it to a list saying that it's one that you may be interested in. And then you click pitch. It's going to look at your bio, look at the information about that podcast, and actually write the email for you. So there it is, written in 5 seconds. I'm Lita, dedicated speaker, coach, and consultant, passionate about empowering professionals in high-stress jobs.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Right? How many of these you think you could send per day?
A lot.
Yeah, that's good. That means you would get booked. High five. Makes it so much easier because it does that for podcast associations, right? Media outlets, conferences, right? So you can go and you can see we're giving you career-based conferences, things of that sort that you can go and reach out to and pitch yourself as the speaker for that conference. Make sense?
Yes.
The cool thing is that you can follow up. So you can track everything. If you have a conference you're already in conversation with and you need to have some topics to take to the meeting so you're not caught off guard, like Lawrence has that meeting later this week with that school, our software is going to give him suggestions on the topics that he should take into that meeting. All right. So here we go. Strategies for overcoming the glass ceiling, balancing career and family life, confidence and clarity, mentoring role model support, stress management. Right. So we give you those topics that we think you could cover that would be appropriate for that event. But here's the cool thing. I asked if you had a framework and you said not yet. Well, cool. We'll help you with one. So give us 2 seconds and we'll give you a framework that you can use that'll be memorable for the people in the audience who are listening to you talking about the high stress job that they may be dealing with. And come on. Let me pedal faster on the internet over here. There it is. Right. So we came up with the guide framework. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
these are the things that we want to do. We want to help people transition into thought leadership. So it's one thing to teach, it's one thing to keynote, it's another thing to be the thought leader, right? And when we think about those people that we know, who's your favorite speaker right now? If you had to pick a favorite thought leader,
Probably Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, okay? Great example, right? So we go to Tony Robbins right here. First thing on his page is him speaking, right? But what's he trying to do? He needs to capture your information, but he's promoting his products. He's not saying, look at my speaker one sheet or any of that. He's telling you, buy my business mastery, come to the Leadership Academy, go to Date with Destiny. He got a whole gang of these things. Wait, how many of them he got? Look, he got a whole slide full of different courses that he's offering. So he's using speaking as the growth engine for his main business, right? Are you familiar with Lisa Nichols?
No.
This lady here, you ever seen her before?
No.
Okay. What's another thought leader you know? Stephen Covey, you know him?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've read his books.
Right? 7 Habits, right?
Yes.
He passed away in 2012. That framework last year generated $287 million in revenue. And he hasn't spoken since 2012. So we're trying to help our speakers to create master frameworks and legacy works that can outlive them. So you can get paid even when you're not on the stage, right? Tony Robbins isn't giving a speech today, but I guarantee you somebody that came over here and bought one of these courses, right? So he got courses on everything. He's selling planners. He got a relationship app. You know, I mean, he said, we're going to get you something.